So, I can say that this has been a very interesting season. This has been a season of a lot of ups and downs, slips and slides, afflictions, trials, tribulations. And as I was finna, get ready to make this video, God had put it on my spirit. He kept repeating it to me, what he wanted me to title this video. And I kept hearing in my spirit, I had it all wrong. And the reason why I say that this title was so profound is because I have been in a season, or I have currently been in a season where I can openly admit that I had it all wrong. And a lot of us tend to get in that place where we have it all wrong, where we feel like that we know what God's plan is for our lives, where we feel like that we know what's the best decision for our own lives. It's like we take the place of God and we tell God, this is the best decision. I feel like this is the right decision because it feels right, it sounds right, and it looks right. And just because it looks and feels and sounds right does not mean that it's God's sound. Does not mean that God has called you to it, called you, placed it on you. And that's where the deception leads us. Because God says in the word, a way may seem right to a man, but it only leads to death. And there's a reason for that. Because our ways are not his ways. His thoughts are not our thoughts. His thoughts are way, way, way more expansive, way more complex than ours. We have a limited understanding. And the things that God gives us through revelation is a limited. It's only on the surface level of what can fully be expanded if we just fully seek him and seek his ways. And even then, we still don't know. So that gives us the difference between us and God. So the reason why I say all this is because many of us, we tend to get in a place where the things where we felt right, or the things we felt like we were doing that was right, really was something that we was doing wrong the whole entire time. And we didn't even know it because we played into the hands of either the enemy, or we played into the hands of what we felt like. And usually most of the time it's what we feel like, and the enemy can capitalize and play off that, because now you're opening doors, you're entering enemy territory to allow confusion, to allow a lot of things to creep in. And I was in Genesis 50, and in Genesis 50, this is around the time Jacob had died. Jacob is the father of Joseph and Joseph's brothers. So Joseph at this time was already at the palace. He was at the palace, sitting right next to Pharaoh in Egypt. And of course, Joseph wanted to go mourn, and he wanted to go bury his father. So Pharaoh gave him permission to do so. And in that, everybody came to celebrate Jacob. Everybody came to celebrate him. Everybody came to honor him because Jacob was a very, good man, very spirit-led man. And what was so profound to me in this chapter was towards the end of it, after Joseph and his brother's father being buried, Joseph's brothers came to him, pleading with him, apologizing to him for the things in which they did. I don't know if y'all know about the story of Joseph and the Roman colors, and him and his brothers. His brothers were very envious and they were very jealous of him, even to the point they sold him off to slavery. First they threw him into a pit, and then they sold him off to slavery because of jealousy. And now, because of the pain and the afflictions and the trial and tribulations that Joseph went through, from him going to that, and even the false accusations, from him going to that to going to a place where he's in the palace, he's in royalty, he's anointed and appointed for such a position to be right next to Pharaoh. His brothers apologized to him. They wanted to they said that perhaps Joseph hates us and he will repay evil, meaning he will seek revenge for what we have done to him. So, they're saying our father said, please forgive their trespasses. He was saying before Dad died, he told us that, you need to forgive us of our trespasses for we sinned against you. And Joseph just started weeping. And Joseph is and Joseph's brothers, they're falling down oh no, we're your servants. They're falling down as if he's God. And Joseph is telling them, don't be afraid, for I am not in the place of God, for am I in the place of God? So he's trying to get them to understand, I don't have no authority to cast judgment, guys. I have no authority to say what God should do or to say to what I should do to y'all. But verse 20 was really profound to me, and it really stood out to me because he said, "But as for you, you meant evil against me, but God meant it for good, in order to bring it about as if the day to save many people alive. Now, therefore, do not be afraid. I will provide for you and your little ones." And he comforted them and spoke kindly to them. And the reason why I say that was so profound, bro, is because Joseph went to a place. Joseph came from a place of accusation. He came to a place of people ridiculing him, people accusing him, people seeking out his death, seeking to kill him. And yet he still forgave them. Yet he still loved on them. And he realized that it was a bigger and greater purpose than him. He realized that the place that he was at before he came to the palace was greater than him. And instead of seeking out revenge, because we're not supposed to, God says vengeance is his. Instead he loved. Instead he forgave. Instead he said that whatever was sent to me for evil, God meant it for his good. God turned it around for his good. And he said, do not be afraid, for I am called and I'm appointed to be that leader, to be that destiny helper, to be the one that is going to not only set you free, set these people free, but also bring you to salvation in him. And right now, I feel like for many of us are in situations, we're in places, connections, we're in things that we do not want to be in. And the reason why we don't want to be in it is because, number one, it makes us uncomfortable and we're suffering. And number two, we want full control. A lot of us grew up having all of the control. So when you grew up having nothing but control, all you know is to manipulate situations to have them work out in your favor. But when it comes to the Lord, God is looking for obedience. He's not looking for your feelings. He's not looking for your emotions. He does not care about how you feel in a situation. And it's not saying he doesn't care about your emotions, but whenever it is to serve your agenda, to serve your purpose instead of serve his agenda and purposes overall, then he doesn't care about that, because overall, when it comes to God's purposes, it's for everybody involved. It is the importance of everybody being involved. It's the importance of everybody being saved and coming to him in salvation. So there's a lot of situations that you guys are in that you may not want to be in. You may be in places you don't want to be in. You may be in relationships you don't want to be in. You may be stuck in situations where you may feel trapped and you're suffering and you're angry because you know that there's nothing you can really do about it. Oh my God, that's good. There's situations that you're in that you feel like you can't do nothing about it, but it's not the simple fact you can't do nothing about it. It's the simple fact that you are not trusting in God, and you're not sitting still and being patient with God to allow God to work and allow God to lead and allow God to move on your behalf. Instead, you're leaning on your own understanding and you're making premature decisions and premature moves that can cause long-term delays, that can cause long-term consequences. Do you think Joseph wanted to go through the things he went to? And here's the thing, and it's since I blame the church, and I love what Pastor Jerry Flowers said. Shout out Pastor Jerry Flowers. He said, because so many churches teach bad doctrine, like we always teach, you're going to receive your blessing and you're going to go straight to the promised land. Instead of teaching that in order for you to obtain the breakthrough, in the midst of it, you have to pick up your cross. In the midst of it, you have to suffer. What do we feel like? Well, why do we think that we're so special that Jesus could suffer, but that we can't suffer? Jesus himself suffered. In fact, in the Garden of Gethsemane, Jesus actually pleaded and cried to God because he didn't want to die on the cross the next day. But he realized it was that through his death, and he even realized, I love what it said when I read Hebrews 5 yesterday. I believe that it even said that it was through his suffering, or it was by his suffering, in which he learned obedience. And that's why I said there's an importance in suffering. There's an importance of dying to self. Yes, do it feel good? No. Do anybody want to die to self? No. But it is through your dying in which it produces obedience. Because it takes you at this low place. It takes you at this place of humility, this place that is a low place where you can reverence God, where all you are surrounded by is counting on God. That's why God wants us to suffer. He wants us to suffer because suffering is what creates character. Do you think everybody in the Bible were at the places they were at because of, oh, I'm just anointed, I'm just appointed? No. They had to go through suffering. They had to go through some kind of suffering. Look at every person that you've known in the Bible that is a known figure in the Bible. They all had to go through some form of suffering. They all had to go through some form of trial and affliction, even if it was something they didn't want to go through, even if it was something that they felt like was not fair. And to be quite frankly, sometimes a lot of places that we're in, a lot of things that we are attached to, the reason why you don't want to be a part of it, or the reason why you don't like it, is because you know deep down inside it was because of your own actions and the reason why you are at the place where you're at right now. It wasn't the devil. The devil just, in a sense, played off of what you chose to do out of your own free will because you wanted to exercise the pleasure of entertaining your flesh and entertaining options and fiddling with doors that were not originally supposed to be open in the first place. But yet, God still used the choices that you made that was out of the line of his will, all to glorify him. He said all things, Romans 8:28, all things work together for those that love me and are called according to my purpose. So although, yes, you made a decision that was out of the line of God, God still fixed it and he still managed it in a way where it could still bring him glory. And it can still be realigned and align you back on track to the path where he intended for you all along. That's how good and gracious God is. I love when it said in Proverbs 8:16, it says, by me, and this is wisdom, Solomon in Proverbs 8, read it. Proverbs 8 is being described as a woman. Solomon is describing Proverbs 8 as a woman. She's very, nurturing. She's very caring. She's very admirable. And wisdom cries out to the rooftops. Wisdom cries out and opens the gates to her city for anybody willing to come in, to receive her, to take in her. Wisdom is who Jesus Christ is. He is the embodiment of wisdom. He is wisdom in all. And I like how Proverbs 8:16 says, by me, princes rule and nobles, all judges of the earth. Meaning that God was showing me in the studies that wisdom is what forms leaders. Wisdom is what creates leaders. Wisdom is what empowers and lifts up leaders. Not your pride, not your ego, not your status, but it is by wisdom, and it's by the way and the truth of Jesus Christ in which leaders are formed. And also verses 32-36 says, now therefore listen to me, my children, for blessed are those who keep my ways. Hear instruction and be wise, and do not disdain it. Blessed is the man who listens to me, watching daily at my gates, waiting at the post of my doors. For whoever finds me finds life and obtains favor from the Lord. But he who sins against me wrongs his own soul. All those who hate me love death. So the thing is, what God is saying is that God is looking for a people that's willing. God is looking for people who are going to not only that are willing, but that are going to receive him. Right now, God is raising up many leaders. He's raising up many people who are going to go out and are going to do the work, because the harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few. And so God is saying today, how can I use you? How can I raise you up? How can I call you a leader if you're constantly, continuously living double lives? You're dibbling, dabbling, and playing around in sin. You're rebellious. You're doing things your own way. The thing is you're not going through what you're going through for no reason. Yes, because of some choices, but that's here and there. God is using you for a purpose that is bigger than you. And we have to get out of that mindset that it's about me, when it's not. God is here to save souls that are lost. God is here to build his kingdom. It is a war between good versus evil. He is coming back for a church that is spotless and blameless, without any wrinkles. He is looking for a people that are going to walk in the ways of wisdom and not forsake it. We are getting to a point in time where God is calling on the children of God to oppose against the forces of evil. Right now it's time to take a stand and be diligent and be vigilant at all costs. There's a reason why in the word why it says that he suffered so that we may suffer with him and be glorified together with him. It's way more bigger than you and I. Stay vigilant, y'all. I love you, and so does God. God bless.